My name is Sarah Blanton, and I serve as the Development Director for Safe Harbor of NC. We are a local 501c3 nonprofit organization, and our mission statement is to provide a Christ-centered community for women to rebuild, renew, and recover. Safe Harbor was established in 2004, so this is our 20th year of service. We're very excited about that. And so Safe Harbor is really a story of someone stepping out on faith. This ministry was built on prayer and on faith. And so Safe Harbor's founder, Debbie Haynes, she was very involved in jail ministry with her church. She worked as a church secretary for a number of years. And as she was involved with this jail ministry with her church, she really had an opportunity to build relationships with the women that were incarcerated. And she did her homework. She learned the reasons that women were incarcerated, and a high percentage of the women that were incarcerated, it was due to substance use, of course, but there were also these layers of trauma, abuse, untreated mental health. And so it really just inspired her to, one, take a deeper look at what trauma is, and also learn about the local resources that were available for women. And to her surprise, there were not any resources available for women that were incarcerated but were working to transition back into the community. So Safe Harbor contributes to the community by being a safe harbor for women, for all women. We have immediate and long-term programming for women and children that are experiencing homelessness, for women that are seeking recovery and supports for substance use disorder. We also have some transitional apartments for women in recovery, in addition to a transitional cottage for women that have experienced chronic homelessness. We have classes that we offer to women at large in the community, and our hope is that everyone that we encounter, especially the women that we serve, that they will have a thriving and purposeful life in Christ, because we are a Christ-centered organization, and what we believe is that He is the healer of all of our diseases, and He's the only one that can bring the kind of healing that's needed in the lives of these ladies that we love so dearly. So Debbie Haynes, our founder, I think she knew that what she wanted to do was have a situation where the organization was not dependent on grant funding, but also would be able to provide services and programming at no cost to the participants. So that's a lot of relationships. That's building a lot of momentum. That's a lot of conversations, and that took a lot of work. And so, we appreciate Debbie's desire to work to have a situation where we could be truly person-centered with the kind of care that we provide, that we can involve the community, that we could involve the faith community, as well as businesses or other organizations in town, foundations. And so over the years, yes, it has been a lot of legwork and a lot of going to the mailbox, just hoping and praying that the money would be there. But, God has provided, and He has worked miracles. There's no other word to use to describe what has happened at Safe Harbor in the past 20 years other than the word miraculous. We have experienced God working through amazing individuals in this community. I can't speak enough on the generosity of this wonderful community that we have, and how passionate and compassionate that people are in wanting to come alongside of women that are struggling and that are in recovery and want to better their lives. And so what started out as challenges on just generating that support has become our saving grace, because the amount of support that this community has poured into this organization is overwhelming, and it just continually blows my mind and touches my heart, and it touches the lives of the women that we serve. Safe Harbor started out with a day program to provide a safe place for any women and children that were experiencing homelessness during the day to come. That provided a lot of opportunity for individuals in the community to get involved, to lead Bible study, teach life skill classes, help these ladies get to job interviews. And so, the longer that you work and come alongside of women on their journey to recovery, you learn the hardships that they experience. You learn about the barriers. You learn about the ongoing needs in your community. And so year by year, what I love about Safe Harbor is that they continually look to determine what the needs are in their community, and they level up. They've leveled up every year in terms of programming. So what started out as a day center or a day shelter for women and children evolved into a larger center with adding long-term residential recovery programming for women, and added to that transitional apartments and a social enterprise for women to gain employability skills. And then the addition of our transitional cottage, The Passage. So excited about that, because that gave us an opportunity to experience transitional and wraparound services for women that have experienced chronic homelessness. I feel what sets Safe Harbor apart is that we are Christ-centered. And so everything that we do is based on that foundation of Christ and biblical principles. But also what sets us apart as an organization, I think, is the time that we invest in the ladies. Our services, and because of the very generous support that we receive in the community, it allows us to have that long-term residential holistic programming. I think there is some misconceptions oftentimes about a faith-based organization. Again, Debbie Haynes, our founder, she really, truly did her homework, and she laid a foundation, and she researched, trauma-informed care, evidence-based practices like cognitive behavioral therapy, dialectical behavioral therapy, motivational interviewing. And, you're able to implement those effective practices, but also weaving the love of Christ, your identity in Christ, throughout all of your curriculum and throughout every aspect of the programming. And that's what makes it transformational, instead of just a transactional approach. Being the hands and feet of Christ and holding their hand and really carefully and lovingly guiding them through this process. And I'm so appreciative of this community for making it possible for us to be able to have that intentionality in everything that we do at no cost to the participants. That's huge. What I cherish most is this is God's business, and He's got a big business. And what I love is that I get to witness miracles happen before my eyes. I think it's important to know that if you're going to be involved or be a part of this kind of work, you got to understand that you're going to be in the trenches with people, and that it's messy, it's hard, it's complex. Be able to do that with women and just see the transformation just unfold as they begin to surrender their life to God, and how He just shows up for them. And there have been things that, when it comes to acquiring housing, employment, relationships restored, that I'm a pretty optimistic person, but even I've said, I don't know that that's going to work out, but He just proves that He is able, and that He's more than able to do it. And so my faith grows every day by being a part of this organization. And it's all about building relationships, and it's about modeling that love with no expectations attached. And that's what He's called us to do. That's what God has called us to do, is to love people well, to meet them where they are, and not get in His way. I think sometimes our best intentions can get in His way when we need to just be completely dependent on Him and love. Love well, serve well, do things with excellence, be in prayer constantly. You will never find an organization that prays more than Safe Harbor. We do, but that's where the miracles take place. And so I feel like I am a part of something so special and so genuine and authentic, and that means so much to me. And I know that has meant the world to the women and children that we've been able to serve over the years. So our goals for the future are to serve more women, to serve as many women and children that we can through these comprehensive services. And, as I mentioned before, needs, the needs of women and their families, they're very complex. And so, you constantly need to be innovative with what you're doing to truly meet the needs, the ever-changing needs in your community. Big part of what we do and how we help women and that impact, and the reason that it's so effective long term, is that we really help the ladies build their community of support beyond Safe Harbor. So that's where your local businesses, your organizations, your churches, your individuals, this is where they all come in. And our thrift store, Resource Warehouse, we desire to have more thrift stores. If we have more thrift stores, that is helping with the sustainability of the organization, but it's also providing more opportunities for ladies to work, to build skills, to improve their resume. We need vehicles. Transportation is the number one barrier for women, or for anyone really, in early recovery. And so we have a Hope on Wheels program. And although, the cost of living, can you imagine the challenges that a single mom in early recovery has when she doesn't have reliable transportation? And so we need vehicles. We need financial support, facilities, volunteers, faithful volunteers that will come and build relationships with the ladies and serve meals and fulfill all of these specialty roles. And again, it's all about providing that community, that strong, thriving recovery community of support. And that really ministers to the women. And your life, my life, is changed in that process as well.